Hi, my name is Brianna Luna. I go by Breezy, and this is my artist presentation. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, mostly from the lower class side of Houston. I did grow up in a very, very large household. I grew up in a household filled with 10 people, so the family here you see in these two images is basically the same kids that are living in my current house. It is a chaotic situation. I do like to tell people that I adjust very well to chaotic environments just because I come from a chaotic environment. But yeah, I've always been very artistic growing up. I've always been interested in performing and visual arts. I did dance and I was in band. I really became interested in art as I got older because I started doing traditional works. I started doing drawings and paintings as I got older. And I knew I wanted to become an artist whenever I was around the age of 16 because I had took this class in high school that was called interactive media and we used Photoshop. And in this Photoshop class, we just really learned how to utilize the tools and how to edit images and kind of like, I guess, develop an eye for digital media. And so as I came to college, I had a huge influence from Tamara de la Pica. Uh, Her portraits of women is reflected in my artwork. I extremely love her use of color and the contrast she has and the way she sets her compositions. It's just very, very inspiring to me. Also, another huge influence would be Jenny Holzler, especially on my works currently, mostly because she does a lot of projection art as well. And she does projector mapping, and just the way she utilizes text and incorporates it in her artwork is very relatable to what I am experimenting with currently. Back to my portraits. This I started college with a niche for portraiture, and I just had a huge thing for making portraits of women and learning how to express women in different kinds of femininity, and just really learning how to incorporate different styles and different mediums, just really starting to experiment and explore new ways of creating portraits of women, most importantly. And it wasn't until the piece on the left that I wanted to incorporate more of a digital side of my artwork, especially in portraits. I was just experimenting and just trying to constantly make art and find where I am, where my voice is, where I stand. I really didn't start finding a voice until I got into film photography. And so, how this would work for this technique is kind of relatable to how I do my current works. What I do is I printed these images in the dark room, and once I printed the images, I would just go over with a Sharpie and write right over the printed image. So if I had to reprint 1,000 times so that I could rearrange my text a different way, I would certainly do that. And so I included this image here specifically because it relates to how I create my digital works currently. And so with this one is like an old school way of using Photoshop. What I did here, instead of printing the image first, I waited. I actually wrote on a transparent sheet, kind of like a Ziploc bag, and I place the Ziploc bag where the image would shine onto the printed paper. And once the image would show, it would leave that layer of the text um, when it would print like that. So it was just, it's very, I really don't know how to explain it in darkroom terms just because I only took it for one semester. But this is how it worked, and it really relates to how I currently work with my artwork to date. So this is kind of that same concept. What I do here in my digital works is that I scan these images into a scanner and then I bring them into Photoshop. And then in Photoshop, I bring a transparent layer, kind of like that transparent Ziploc bag. And I just use the brush tool to create my text and I just go from there. With these images, I do use the color specifically from the image. I never bring an outside color from nowhere. Literally from the image. And with this series, I did play with the text, did kind of overwhelm the image. I wanted to kind of create this halo effect around the figures and kind of bring attention to the figures while creating that halo effect. It was just a new way of experimenting. And for furthermore into, I guess, of my digital works, I started doing these few interactive pieces. And with this one is using projector mapping, as I was talking about earlier. This piece, for projector mapping, how it works is that if I were to shine the projector onto this wall, you would just see one square in reality. And when I would go into this program to manipulate it with projector mapping, I'm literally designing the wall space so that my images matches the corners and also the surfaces of the squares proportionally. That way it's not just shining onto one image. And I included this image here of me so that you could see scale-wise that it was very large and it did take up a large chunk of the room just to have that atmosphere. I did include a GIF of what it looks like. This piece was a lot of fun to create. It does have a strong influence of Jenny Holzler from it, especially with the text. And it wasn't until this piece where I started to incorporate my handwriting into my projection art. And with this piece is a lot more interactive. So with this piece, it changes the color, it inverts the color to the amount of sound there is. And with this GIF, you can kind of see that. It's a short GIF, but it literally shows what the art piece does. Once there's noise, it does react and it changes very quickly to the amount of sound there is. And I really started getting into film photography with Polaroids. And so this is the Fuji Instax film. And what I would do with these, I would scan them into a scanner and I would also put them into Photoshop and create that same transparent layer and just work away with text and just keep going. I really, really enjoy putting text in my artwork and I love finding new ways to incorporate it. I really, really enjoy going one by one and kind of scanning these Polaroids. The Polaroid to your right is actual Polaroid film instead of Fuji. I personally prefer Polaroid film just because I feel like the quality is a lot better. It's just my personal preference. But I did kind of, with these images, I didn't overwhelm the images with text. I kind of learned to just kind of go with not, I guess, filling the whole image with text and just kind of did little portions instead. And I just really like experimenting with text and how to utilize it, especially in film as well. And this is my fairly recent works. Uh, this is where I use my DSLR and really learn how to manipulate my camera, utilize it to its fullest potential. And so the same process here is bringing my images into Photoshop and creating that transparent layer so that I can use text in my images. and I really got into this little night photography for a little bit and did a few works of that. And it's this is one of my latest pieces incorporating text, and I absolutely had a lot of fun making this piece. Um, so with everything that's going on, I just keep trying to make a lot of artwork. I'm trying to incorporate as much text in different ways and different, I guess, sizes, different positions and stuff like that. I'm just really, really interested in playing with text and incorporating it in my artwork because I think it's uh, my niche and who I am as an artist and uh, how I feel about that. So, yeah, thank y'all for watching my artist presentation, and I hope y'all have a good one. Thank y'all. Bye.